Unions welcome the fact that as a result of last night's, well really this morning's decision, Qantas airplanes should be in the air in the next day or two, or as soon as possible. We said last night that our priority was to make sure, firstly, that the planes were back in the air, secondly, that the workers were not locked out as was intended later today, and that thirdly, the issues around job security and the claims that have been advanced by unions over the last several months are addressed. As a result of the decision of Fair Work Australia, there's the opportunity of doing that now. But I have to stress that there is a lot of work to be done, and we, the ACTU and unions, will be working as hard as we can to make sure that the operation is put back on proper footing, and that all of those issues are addressed through the process of Fair Work Australia. If you look at the decision last night, I think the really significant thing about it is that it recognises and actually substantiates what we were saying, that the potential harm to the Australian economy, to the tourism industry, the aviation industry, and the broader economy that required the federal government to act and required Fair Work Australia to make the decision that it made, was the action of Qantas, and the action of Qantas alone. And I emphasise that, the Qantas management alone, and Alan Joyce has to take personal responsibility for this, to propose to lock out its workers. A proposal, an action, which was without precedent in Australian industrial history, and without any justification when you compare it to the actions that had been and the negotiation process that had been undertaken by unions. And the decision of Fair Work Australia, the independent umpire, has recognised that fact. They made a decision to terminate the industrial action that was taking place, and in particular to make sure that the lockouts don't go ahead. And to that extent, as a result of the intervention of the federal government, we welcome the process. We'll now engage in that process to make sure that these issues are addressed. And they are important issues. They actually go to the sort of nature of an airline Qantas is, the nature of an employer that it is, and from our point of view, it's crucial that an employer like Qantas provides good, secure jobs which have wages and conditions which are in accordance with Australian standards, and have job security protections. Now, the unions have always been prepared to negotiate about these issues, and that's what will happen over the next couple of weeks in accordance with the decision of Fair Work Australia. It is necessary, I think, for us to, and for the Australian community to look at the actions that Qantas have taken and to really come to an appreciation that this action was absolutely inappropriate. And Qantas management will have to face up to that responsibility. That's the first thing. But the second thing they have to do now really is to make sure that the operation is back on foot, and that they actually sit down and negotiate with the unions on behalf of their workers to ensure that these legitimate issues around job security actually are resolved.